I'm Jimmy Mundo.
Evan Torres. I am the co-commissioner of activities.
Aidan Moore, and I am a community college student that graduated from high school in 2018.
Suzanna Kusman, and I'm a college student, and I graduated in 2018 as well.
I'm Tierra, class of 2018, college student currently.
So before we start, I want to say thank you guys for all coming out here and helping out the desert audience. The main purpose of this panel is to start getting insight from you, or DHS alumni, to learn from your experiences and what tips you have to offer for us students, especially us going into our senior year and what we can learn and expect. To start off, we can start with just some introductions from each of us of like what college we all go to and where we or what we study. So Aidan, if you want to start us off.
Oh, okay. I'm currently attending AVC, so it's a community college that's just local out here. Right now, I am studying or I'm majoring in electrical technology. I've done like a few major changes, but that's the one that I'm focusing on right now. So.
All right. Suzanna?
I'm going to be a third year at UC Irvine right now, and I'm majoring in business administration and minoring in digital information systems.
Great.
And lastly, Tierra. Hi, I go to UCLA. I'm going to be a third year, and I'm a physiological sciences major.
Okay, so firstly, from each one of you guys, we have 2 UC students and 1 college or community college student attending in California. We don't have any CSU students here, but we can cover basically the benefits of the community colleges and UCs personally from each one of y'all. So Tierra, if you want to explain some benefits at the UCs.
At the UCLA? Well, for UCLA specifically, there's like thousands, I don't know the number, but thousands of majors to choose from. Like in terms of like life science, there's like 25 that you can pick from. So you like have this like all these opportunities for like anything, honestly. And there's a bunch of clubs at UCLA. Like it's honestly overwhelming how many clubs there are at UCLA. Like you don't know which one's the right one for you, but like I think you could pick the right one. And great food. UCLA has the best food on planet Earth. Beautiful. I've never had a bad experience with food, but that's beside the point. That's just like a plus. Oh, and it's super close to home if you're like in the.
Besides that, how many like dining halls do you guys have at UCLA too?
Oh, don't get me started. Okay, so there's dinner, feast, B plate, Coval. So 4 like dining halls, and then there's rendezvous. 4 to-go places.
All right.
And each like place caters to like different tastes. So like B plate's like for the vegetarians. There's the Asian dining hall, and then there's the Mexican, and then there's the like Italian-esque dining hall. So like, so good.
Amongst all things in the social life, like clubs and academics, they have great fit at UCLA. Suzanna, if you want to carry on with some benefits at UCI.
Going off of what Tierra said, there's like I think over 600 clubs at UCI, so it's just a lot to choose from, and it can get overwhelming. But one thing that I would recommend is like for anyone going into your freshman year, just go on your college's website and look at all the clubs that they have, just so when they have like activity fairs and things like that, you kind of have like an idea of what you want to do or like what clubs you're interested in, because that helped me a little bit to kind of navigate my way through that. But that's one thing that's so great about UCs is that there's so many options for you, and there's so many different ways that you can go. And I think a big part of it is you get experiences and you meet people that you wouldn't have met before in like any other situation. So I think that's a great thing. And there's if you want to grow yourself like personally or professionally, like there's ways to do that at any type of college really, but especially like UCs, they're known as like the research facility, so there's all these research opportunities and different things like that.
I was saying about like meeting people, I don't know if Aidan has experiences, but AVC, like not like I would assume a lot of people are from the AV, so they understand the same like lifestyle. But if you go to UC, like I've met people from like Switzerland or like even NorCal is like different than SoCal. So yeah, you get a different perspective on everything.
Over to Aidan on life at a community college.
Actually, on the point that Tierra made, it is actually mostly true. You are mainly seeing just a bunch of different people that are in the local area, but you will still get quite a few other students that transferred over. Heck, there was actually one person that was from, I think he came over from Britain, and he was just in the AV because of work, and he was like, you know what, I needed a degree to, move up in his field, and ABC just offered it for cheap, or at least offered the stepping stones to it for cheap. With community colleges, it's not, depending on what you do, it's not as I guess lively. There are still quite a few clubs out there that you can participate in. There are still people that are like actively seeking little study groups or people to meet up and whatnot. But the age range is very diverse for community colleges. For the majority of my classes, I've had people in their 30s and above in the same class as me. That was the majority of my classes. I had no idea, like nobody was really my age. And it was a little bit saddening, but that was also because I'm working at as well as going to college. So I'm doing late night classes, and those are where you get all the adults and get all of the, the working people who take these classes, because that's when they can do it. But if you're doing like morning classes or afternoon classes, you'll typically have people in your same age group attending those same classes, and so you'll actually be able to fit in a little bit better. I still have some great experiences especially from the adults that I met in my classes, because they give you a different perspective on things than, say, another 20-something-year-old coming in from another part of the world talking to you. Yeah, they can introduce you to different cultures and all that, but they don't have the years ahead of them to teach you certain things that maybe that you didn't pay attention to in your current college career. There's quite a few classes. AVC especially, there's actually quite a few classes that you could take. The whole point of community college is to get your foot in the door, to kind of get comfortable and understand college life. So maybe you're working, maybe you're not. Maybe you can't afford university right off the bat. Maybe you can't do 4 years at a pricey university. But with community college, you're able to get these units out of the way that you would need to take at the university as well. And in regards to ABC, the gen ed that is offered here gets transferred to all of those universities. So if you take them properly here, you won't have to worry about focusing on missing credentials at different universities, and then you could just focus on maybe advancing your degree, because community colleges aren't really the ones that offer master's degrees and whatnot. They're the basic bachelor's, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It's mainly just certificates and associates that they offer you, and once you complete that there, they'll be able to send you on your way to an actual university if you want to continue your education.
Yeah, to add to your the diversity in community colleges, as a high school student, I took a class at another community college over the summer, and I realized like in that class they had students from they had high school students from around the area, as well as adults too. They had I remember seeing somebody who was like trying to be a nurse, and she had children. Just the diversity in classes is just it definitely sets you up and gets you ready to experience life outside, like in workplaces with various ages, which is something good. And I'm not gonna say other schools don't do that, other schools besides community colleges, but getting used to that diversity of age also helps a lot at schools.
Now, hearing about everyone's everyone's personal life at a community college, like with people that are like from various ages. So for Tierra and Suzanna, because you guys go to like UCs, you guys kind of have people that are somewhat similar to your age when it comes to that. So how is like your personal life at your schools?
What do you mean personal life?
Like clubs and sports, like those, like clubs, like those types of life.
I guess what's something that you guys attend to? You guys do?
Yeah. Like, do you feel like there's more people that you can like relate to?
Typically, your freshman year, at least at UCI, it's mainly your freshman year, you get to be in the dorms. So that's one experience that I guess would be unique for universities, where you're in a hall of some sort and it's all usually like first years just like you. So you get that kind of time to have like a bonding experience with these people that like from all over that you don't know. Like maybe you find someone that lived like 30 minutes away from you. Maybe you found someone that lives like 5 hours away. There was a couple people in my hall my freshman year that were from like Maryland and things like that. So you just get to meet a bunch of different people. And that for us, that was like our first year. And so that's one experience that I think is pretty unique, and it helps you kind of transition because you're not just immediately like on your own. You're still surrounded by like a smaller community, even if you're at a college with thousands and thousands of people. So I think that's nice. And personally for me, one club that I've been a part of since my freshman year was Women in Leadership, because I knew that was something that I wanted to do, because that was part of as my major is like business administration. I knew I wanted to do something that would like help me professionally, but then also like being surrounded by people that are like-minded and like reaching towards the same goals as me. I think that's important. I think that's something that like high school students going into college should think about. Make sure you're working towards finding people that like help build you up and have the same goals as you, and that's so nice that you're able to have all these different like opportunities to find that. So that's one thing that I do.
Going off of the dorm thing, I had a different experience because most of my friends I made on my floor were second years and I was a first year. So they showed me like the ropes of UCLA and like gave me tips and advice. And then in my second year, I joined a dance team, and the majority of my friends were older than me. They were like fourth years or third years. So they all had like adulting lives, I guess. So they gave me that experience. And then honestly, all my clubs I joined were just things that I enjoy, like dancing. And I also joined this mixed student union because I'm mixed. And I was going through an identity crisis, and they like really helped me through that. So like, if anything, just join whatever you want to do that will make you happy, because you're going to be there for 4 years, possibly.
I think too, going off of what Tierra said, it's really important to not just be thinking, oh, like I need to get all A's, I need to like have like really good grades in college. That's obviously important, but you also have to think about doing things that are good, that's good for yourself and that will make you happy, because again, like it is like 3 to 4 years or more of your life, and you can't just like burn yourself out, and you have to do things that will keep you motivated and keep you happy. And that's like finding those people and like joining those clubs that will like keep you interested in things.
I was say, not to imply that there's any rivalry behind this, but at UCI, which dorm is better, the Middle Earth or the what's the other? Is it the Hill or something like that?
Oh my gosh, I lived in Mesa Court. I was like, I forgot.
Oh yeah, Mesa
Court is 100% better. I went to Middle Earth like 3 times, and I felt like I was in another world, and I did not like it. So that's just
That one, Suzanna?
What?
Middle Earth. Which one was that one?
We didn't go in there.
We didn't. Okay, I was like,
we stayed away.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not part of any rivalry.
Is everything like closer together? Because I don't really know where the dorms are in UCLA.
So let me give you a rundown. Okay, so there's the main campus, and then there's a hill. I hate this hill. So it's a hill, and then you go onto like the dorms. All the dorms are like squished together on this small hill. So technically, if you were at the Poly Stadium, which is where they have the basketball courts, you look to the left, and then there's a hill, and then that takes you up to the dorms.
Okay.
UCLA is a really small campus.
Did you walk the hills? Have you walked?
Oh, I avoid the hill and I take stairs. That's my life at UCLA. You avoid hills and take stairs.
Oh, it's like an actual, okay.
No, it's an actual
at
like
UCI, it's just
go ahead.
At UCI, it's just like one big circle. So there's like a giant park in the middle, and then literally everything is a circle. So like the first time I went, it's really overwhelming. It just seems so big, just because like Desert obviously is like so tiny. Like our class was 65 people, and then going there, and it was just so overwhelming. But once you get used to it, I'm pretty sure this is for any college, like it's no big deal. Like, it's really just a little circle and it's fine. But
Unfortunately, we don't have any UCSD students in which they would have to explain to us a large terrain of stuff.
Hey, Tierra, if you guys applied to UCSD, did you have to rank the colleges in your app?
Yeah, I did. I did do
Okay.
that.
Okay.
I totally forgot I did that. I think I just put random stuff. I was like, so I was like, click, 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 and then I got in. So I guess it doesn't really matter that much.
Okay.
I don't know though.
You just don't pick the one just like it's not yours, like the engineering school or something.
Yeah.
I think I heard Eleanor Roosevelt. That school is more like a history school or something, like history focused.
I
And
forgot about that.
the school's called the Seventh School.
that was stressful.
There's a new one. They added that this year.
We'll figure it out.
And everyone kind of touched up on this, but like the academics at the colleges, so like major wise or like the classes that are given. And so Aidan kind of gave us the spiel that like, community college, there's more associate's degrees and certificates. And then like in UCs, there's like the more bachelors and you can go into like doctors. So like just talk about the academics.
Go through the process of like, selecting classes, because this is something that each student themselves do. So, yeah.
Oh yeah.
You don't want to get me started. Susanna, go first. I'm gonna pop off. It angers me.
One thing, just when you're going into the applying process, just make sure that the college you're applying to has the major that you have interest in, or if you think you might be interested in the future, like make sure the college you have has that, because like for me, only a few like UCs actually have the undergraduate business administration major. So I think that's one thing that's important to look at, and that was part of my reasoning for choosing UCI is they have a really good business program, and I liked it too because it's actually a tighter knit like school within like the whole campus. So even though there's again like thousands of people, they only accept like a smaller amount into the business school. So the class of like 2022 or whatever for like the business school, it's pretty small. So I still like in my classes I've seen the same people over and over. So that's kind of nice to get like the diversity, but then also like have some like comfortability. And then choosing classes, it is a struggle because you have this one plan when you're going in, when you have your registration date, and then you look and all of them are gone. So then you just have to restart and be upset. But one thing that does help, so usually for freshmen, like their first quarter semester, they get priority. So that should be okay. But then after that, you kind of just, you're left alone pretty much. And I think so if it's usually, at least for UCI, it's based on like your ranking. So if you have some units going in, you will like be higher, I guess. But so that will help. That's from like passing AP tests or taking community college classes or anything like that. So that has helped me. But again, yeah, just going in, you have to just be ready to completely change what you had planned for your classes and go a completely different way. But like if you have any trouble, like your academic advisors should hopefully be there to help you with that. But yeah, it's complicated.
Ramble about enrollment. The academics at a UC, it's like everyone says lecture halls are like 300 people. I don't know if Corona is going to change that, but it's like 300 people in one room, and it's high-key intimidating. But the discussions are really helpful because it's like 20 to 25 people in a room with your TA. And so you get to like ask questions, because I'm scared to ask questions in lecture halls because it's like, I don't want these 300 people to judge me for my dumb question. But in my TA section, I'll be like, I need help because this is hard, but like, yeah. And with discussions, it's easier to make friends because if you're in a lecture hall, it's like, I sit in the same seat every time, but some people don't. So you're like sitting next to different people every time. So you don't know how to like keep track. But with discussions, you know like who's in your class. And then usually for like, what's the word? When it's like, Susanna, what's it called? So it's like 3A, 3B, 3C. What's it called?
Oh, just like sections?
No, there's a word for it. So like if you take the first class, usually the same people will take the second class. and then the same people take the third class, so you see the same people, like Susanna said. What's it called? There's a word for it, I can't remember. Anyways, and in terms of enrollment, the first quarter when I was doing what's it called, orientation, it was so easy to enroll. I was like, enroll, enroll, enroll. And then winter quarter, I got hit like a truck. They were like, this is full, this is full, you can't take this. And then it's still harder as a third year because I was trying to take a lab class to finish my major and it's full. I thought I had priority. I don't. Why is it full? So yeah, like Susanna said, you really set your expectations low. Because I think like spring quarter last year, I was trying to take this chem class. It was full. So I had to like redo my life plan, I guess, to work around that. So that's something I definitely didn't expect. But I think it's different for different colleges because I heard Davis, it's not that hard. But for like UCLA, it's like stupid hard for no reason.
Yeah. I know ABC kind of does. It's kind of the same problem. There have been so many classes that I couldn't take because it was just full. And what ABC does, they have priority registration, and they also have open registration. So if you're priority, it's not like a set group of, or it's not like, you know, an age set or a first year set. It's literally random. If you're a student there, you'll randomly get a date for priority registration. If you're brand new, you got to wait for open registration. And it's a major pain because there was last year in the fall semester, I had to wait a day before open registration. Mind you, priority registration is a week before the open registration. So I'm sitting here waiting for my classes, and just the day before it opens up to the general public, and most of my classes were already gone. And it's like, well, what am I supposed to do? You know, I needed these specific classes, and I kind of got the shorter end of the stick, and now I don't know what to do. And with it being a community college, anybody can apply. Literally anybody. You don't have to be a regular student. You don't have to be enrolled with them. You could be, you know, Mr. John Doe walking in one day and be like, you know what, I'm going to take a class, and you sign up online and you take the class. You pay for it. That's it. That's what community college is like. It's really easy to get in. It's just hard to find your classes. Academic wise, like I said earlier, it is mainly just certificates and associates, though they do have bachelors in quite a few things, come to think of it. I know they have a bachelor's in computer science. Computer sciences, they have a bachelor's in that because that's what I was looking into as well. But it is mainly just you want to get your gen ed out of the way. You want to get your basic, you know, foundation classes good and done. And AVC does actually a pretty good job on setting you up to go to another university, to transfer you to other places. Because I was looking at CSU Chico. I was looking at transferring over there, and they had me all lined up. These are the classes. This is the roadmap of what I need to take and what semesters I should take them in. And for the most part, the counselors are pretty good. They have a express counselor section where you just walk in, wait in line. Usually there's a line there, but walk in and just quickly talk with a regular counselor and just kind of get your basic stuff out of the way. If you need like more in-depth help, they would help you set up an appointment with an actual counselor there, or you could do that online as well. They also have career counselors there as well that'll help with trying to find out what it takes to get into a job that you like. So for example, say you want to do game design, because that was one path I was looking at. I talked with a career counselor, and the specific woman that helped me, like, really helped me understand what it takes, what is required, what is looked at, and where are some good places to go to for this certain job field. They would recommend certain classes that would help you get a 1-up. They would help look for colleges that offer game design in their colleges, CSU Chico being one of them. And they would just they would set up your future for you, and it's just up to you to take the initiative to go for it, because they're not really there to handhold you. You are responsible for your own self, and it's a little daunting, because in high school, you know, you had people kind of hounding you sometimes, but in college, you're on your own, man. If you're falling behind in class, they're not going to check up on you unless you take the initiative to say something and to seek help or do it yourself. So it's got a nice independence to it, but it can get scary sometimes. But with academics wise, it's chaotic at times, man.
I remembered the word. It was series. So you take a math series and a chemistry series and a life science series. That's the word I was looking for. That's all.
Some series are basically like just with the same people, I guess. And
well, there's like,
so like if you do like 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, so like for math, there's 3A, 3B, 3C. But then like for 3A, there's like 2 different professors. So like maybe you'll take 3B with like the same people from one professor, but then there's other people from the other professor. But then for 3C, there's like only one professor, so it's like usually all the same. But that's like besides the point.
okay, all right. So lastly, for our final topic here, we should probably just ask like, why did you guys choose your specific schools, and why did you choose to go there? Why did you choose to, I guess, prefer that school over another? Aidan, you seem to have a.
ABC was not my first choice, man. With 100% honesty, I actually wanted to go to university. I was looking at a Western undergrad university, and it was out in Arizona, and it was nice and pretty, and it was great. NAU, if you can afford it, I highly recommend it. It's great, but it's just I couldn't get any scholarships. I didn't qualify for a lot of funding. I actually got 0 federal aid whatsoever, and I was basically told, yeah, have fun paying out of pocket for that. So I didn't want to go down that route. Me personally, I do not want to be straddled with debt with something that I know is going to take forever to pay off. And sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes if you do a specific career or you get a really good job right out of college, you pay it off pretty quickly. But depending on the field that you're going in, sometimes it's extremely hard, and sometimes it's just you need to wait a little bit before you can do that. So in my dilemma, because I couldn't afford a university, I was kind of thinking of, different routes that I should take with my life. AV's community college in general, it's a lot cheaper. You're only paying for the classes and whatever other extra stuff that comes with the classes. So like, supplies, textbooks and all that. And textbooks get really expensive, but the classes themselves at AVC especially, I think it's like $45 per credit. I think that's the amount right now. So your typical class is 3 credits. That's only about 135. Really cheap for just one class. That's extremely cheap because you're paying thousands of dollars per semester at a university to take you're kind of also given a lot of really cool things too, like, dormitory, food expenses. Sometimes they'll have special things going on for the students. So maybe you'll get like a student card to shop at your local, places and all that stuff. Like universities have a lot of really cool benefits to it as well. It's just a bit pricier. And I'm sure the other two will be able to explain that a lot better than I could because I'm not in that situation right now. But it definitely wasn't my first choice. But I'm glad that I am at least advancing my education. I did take a break year because things got a little too hectic. I was still, I'm still working, so I have to kind of balance it out sometimes. And being able to build up my credit and worry about my future financially and like work-wise, I like being able to balance both of that while also advancing my education. I'm only taking like 2 to 3 classes a semester. It's not a lot, but I'm still making great progress than I would be waiting to get into university years later. It's better to do something rather than sit idly by and watch everything go away, which is something that took me a little while to learn, but it's a good fallback. It's not for everybody. Maybe some people really just want the social aspect of a university. Sometimes you can actually get really good scholarships if you're really great students. I was an average student. I was pretty decent, I would say, but I was too common. So I didn't get a lot of scholarships at all. I didn't qualify for anything. I got 1 scholarship from the school itself. That was it. And it was just I needed to find an alternative to get to where I wanted. So community college is the cheaper route, and you get your basics out of the way. And when you finish community college and you transfer to university to continue it, it's a lot cheaper than you would be doing a 4-year, because you'd only have to pay for maybe the 2 years you'd be there finishing that degree, or maybe even 1 year if you can knock it out. But it's a cheaper, economical approach to it.
Choosing UC, so obviously we have a UCI and a UCLA student. Why did you guys choose exactly those schools specifically, especially Tierra, because you had a lot to choose from?
Wait,
So-
Tara, which one did you not get into?
UCI. So I know.
I remember that thing, and you were like, I didn't get in. I forgot.
I was thinking about that today. I was like, I have this today, and I was like, what did I apply to? And I was like, UCI, and then I got angry again. But anyway, yeah, I don't like UCI. But anywho, great school. Going back on academics, I was gonna say, people think that college is like stupid hard, but like it is hard, but it's like doable. It's not like, I don't know. I feel like I pictured college to be like, oh my God, it's going to be so hard. And like, I won't know anything. I mean, you won't know anything technically, but like, it's honestly really doable. Just like do your stuff and study.
I think it's more
class.
It's more about like being able to manage your time, because again, it's independence and you're on your own. So even though like maybe you don't have class one day, or you only have one class one day, you still have to make sure you're doing your homework and like preparing for a midterm or anything like that, because especially like at UCs, they go on quarter system, so it's 10 weeks, and that can like catch up to you really fast, and suddenly like you feel like you just started learning, and then suddenly you have a midterm, and so like there's no like little leeway for you to like ease into it. You kind of just need to be on top of everything that you're doing. And
okay, going back to why I chose UCLA. Okay, so I applied to a bunch of UCs and like 3 Cal States. Oh, and I applied to private universities before I needed literally an arm and a leg to get into. Anywho, didn't get into privates. And I was like, first I went through the majors. So like a bunch of the colleges didn't have like human physiological sciences. So like they had like basic biology, or like Santa Barbara had marine biology because they're like by the beach, obviously. And Davis is more animal based. So I like ruled those out, and then I was left with SLO and UCLA. And then I went to the SLO campus tour. First of all, my mom didn't like the city, so she was like angry while she was driving. And then I was on the tour, and they were saying like a bunch of people don't graduate within 4 years. So it's like more money. So my mom was like, I don't know if like we can afford this. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. And UCLA was cheaper for me because I don't know why it was cheaper, but there was more financial aid for UCLA, and it was so close. So I picked UCLA, and they had my major. It was just like beautiful.
Suzanna, why did you choose UC Irvine?
I applied to 6 colleges and just Cal States and UCs, and I got into all of them. But when I was looking, I was mainly between UCI and CSU Long Beach, and those two again had the business administration major, which was what I was looking for. I wasn't really sure, and I'm still not completely sure like what I want to do with that exactly, but I just knew that I was more than likely going to stick with that, so I wanted to make sure that that was there. And originally it was really weird. I hadn't even gone to UCI yet, like to like tour it. I had just gone to Long Beach, and I was like, you know what, I'm choosing Long Beach, like that's the one. And then my mom convinced me to go to UCI and like tour it, and pretty much the second I went there and I took the tour and everything, I just listened to what they had to say, and that like instantly changed my mind. So that helped a lot. So I would recommend, even though like right now obviously it's probably a little harder to go there, but if you can do like virtual tours or talk to people who have been to the schools you're interested in, I definitely recommend doing that, because that helps you a lot to hear from other people what they have to say about it. And yeah, so it was mainly that I had my major, and I had talked to other people that have gone there, and I heard good things, and I looked into like the clubs and things like that, and I liked the balance that they have of like academics and personal like social aspects too. So
I remember Suzanna showed up with Long Beach. She had bought Long Beach merch. Like, I'm going to Irvine. I was like, oh my God, that poor girl.
I know. I was like, what am I supposed to do with this now?
And then we had the Spirit Week for College Day, and she's like, I only have Long Beach merch.
I didn't have Irvine merch. I was like, great.
That was so funny.
Great.
I feel it.
I kind of wanted to clarify something a little bit. Because like I was a little bit dramatic with explaining AVC. So in high school, I had this belief that for some reason community college was just like kind of like a reject school. Like it was like, oh, it's where people who couldn't get into universities go into to do their college and all that. And after I got hit like a truck with all the universities, going to the community college itself, it actually did open my eyes a lot to realize, wow, this is actually it's just an alternative. That's all it is. You still get the university experience minus the social aspect, which is a bummer, but you get to experience these new stories. You get to meet a lot of, new people. Even if most of them are just local, you still get to hear all these cool stories and all that. And it really opened my eyes and made me realize that, community college is still pretty much the same thing. You're still getting taught the same curriculum. There's nothing that's really all that different. It's just professors and the people that attend it. That's really it. There were some classes that like really changed how I looked at life. Like there's a history and there is a political science class that I had that was just like really eye-opening, and it showed me different viewpoints, and I got to, get out of the shell of, this little tiny desert town in the middle of the AV that's in the middle of nowhere. I got to get out of that mindset and actually experience certain things. And it was a great experience. I am thankful that this happened. I was actually able to attend some of these classes in person, because although it wasn't my first choice at all, it still gave me some great experiences. And like, I am like really thankful for actually experiencing that.
With anything, it's really like what you make of it. So there's someone probably at like a university that just goes to class, goes back, and doesn't really like try to meet people, try to do anything. And then there's someone at a community college who takes what they have and like tries to, like what Aidan was saying, like hears people's stories and listens to the professors and everything like that. And they could have this amazing experience and then not mention the college, and someone could think that it was a university. Like it really is what you make of it. And I think that people shouldn't think that one is necessarily like superior to another. I think it's just how you look at it and take what you have.
Any final things to say before we sign off on this panel?
Don't overload yourself, dude. Like colleges, because I got to experience at least some university life over the summer and like junior year, where I got to hang out with people like my mindset and all that stuff, and we got to live on a campus for like a week. It is really easy to get ahead of yourself and go buck wild, and then once you get so deep that you kind of start looking at everything like, wow, I am shooting myself in the foot. Sometimes doing too much or doing everything at once is not a great thing. Sometimes you just gotta kind of take like little sneak peeks at certain things, or baby steps into it, because some people like myself will jump into this new world of opportunities and then get overwhelmed quickly because you're taking on so many things. And there's just my advice for that is just kind of learn how to balance it. You got to understand you can have some fun here and there, but also make sure you're doing your things correctly. You don't want to be having too much fun. You don't want to be doing too much work either. You kind of just want to get a nice flow for it.
Anything else to include or add to your final statements, closing statements? I guess that concludes our first panel with our Desert Alumni. Thank you guys all for coming out and helping us.
Sure. Absolutely.
We plan on making more panels, so if there's anything that you guys want to add to or bring up in our next panel, you guys can definitely bring it up. And if there's anything that our desert students have to ask our alumni right now, we will have a form open up for you guys to ask any questions for these people, and hopefully we can get them to y'all so y'all can answer them. All right.
Sweet.
So thank you guys for coming out. Bye.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.